Hey y'all, welcome to the Walk for Change short.
Hi, my name's Becca, and I'm here with Nita, and we're going to talk about racism. A lot of you people out there, mostly white people, well, only white people, think that racism is not a thing anymore, that it's extinct, it's over, it's done, the civil rights movement happened, all that happened. We don't need to talk about it anymore, but we do, especially white people. We need to talk about racism. Racism is alive today, alive and well, and I'm here to talk to Nita about that. Like, what do you have to say on that, Nita? I mean, I highly doubt you're going to disagree with me on this topic.
Well, no, actually, it's a huge topic, and it has so many different layers. But I like to say all the time, we're not anti-white people. We love everybody. We're anti-racism, and what impacts us the most is some of the systems that are designed to oppress people of color. And so that's where I think that's what we need to really kind of focus on. But in actuality, it all ties into what we're doing here. If we continue the work that we're doing, it will have such a wide impact. It will cover so much of the things that, we have experienced and are experiencing in this country as people of color. So, reform, for one, prison reform is a major thing that hurts us. First of all, it decimates the family. When you take the father out of the home, you leave the mother to rear and raise the children while she's trying to work, and then the children wander, and then you have out of control children, and so it's just a ripple effect and a domino effect. So it starts there, and then also with the mass incarceration as far as the marijuana convictions. A lot of us smoke weed. A lot of us indulge in recreational smoking. And I think once we get that decriminalized, it will stop a lot of the mass incarceration and the way that the system uses the criminal justice system to oppress. So it's not white people, it's a system of oppression that we would like to see changed. It's not white people per se. We love people, period. And to be quite frank with you, and this might be a little comical, but all of our life, our mother always wanted us to marry white men because she felt that it was, we would be more stable and more, we wouldn't have to deal with a lot of the things that we deal with as Black women in our community. And it's all about it's all economical. But the things that I just mentioned are the reasons that our foundations can be very imbalanced rather. So reform.
I totally agree with you on that, because as long as we have systemic racism and institutionalized like we do in the court systems and everything else like you're talking about, school everywhere, that leads everyone to take that as the acceptable stance and the acceptable norm,
right,
because it's institutionalized. So it makes sense that we have to start there if we want to change to go outward. And the reason I bring up that this is a white problem is because it's white people that are perpetuating it unknowingly half the time, I believe, too. I believe most of the time it's without even knowledge that they are doing that. That by default, by being a white woman, I have privilege, and acknowledge that. Until we start acknowledging that, we can't really make a change. And that's why I say what I say about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm fully aware of that, and I will acknowledge that, and we all need to.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm not a young woman anymore. I've lived quite a few years, and I worked in corporate America. I've worked in the community, and I can honestly say that I probably have never ever encountered a really, really mean racist Caucasian person.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but in reality, um, it's not the whole.
No.
It's just a few. It's like when we are working together and we have this big idea of how we want to do things, and we got all these folks that jump on the bandwagon, and then they start to drop off, and then you only have that core of people that are really diligent. It's
Mhm.
the same thing with racism. It's just a core. It's just a group of people. It's not the entire race of white people. And so I think, I can safely say that each one has to teach one. Just like you said, when you realize that, it's something that comes along with being a white person. It's a privilege that we don't necessarily have automatically, but we do have favor with people. I have favor with my boss at work. He's a white man.
Mhm.
He fights for me, and he defends me, and he helps me. So, like I said, it's not all, it's some. And so when you encounter one, then that's the time to educate them and try to change their mind and their heart.
And to let people know that equality between those of color and white doesn't mean that one has to be above the other. That equality means that we're on the same level. Because I think that's a problem people get in their head is that, well, if we give more rights, then we're going to lose rights. You're not going to lose any rights,
No.
right? Equality is about equal rights.
And actually, this thing that we're dealing with right now, this pandemic, has basically put everybody on the same, it
Yes.
has leveled the playing field, because it doesn't matter what position you are in society. We are all literally fighting and running for our lives. And if anything, if we are to contract this virus, we will all go out the same way. So
Mhm.
everybody's equal right now.
Yep.
And so it's a good time to reflect on what really matters in life, So, yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you for talking to me. I really wanted to talk about this because this is a
Well, I
really
never
big
had to
reason why
talk
I'm
about it
walking.
before. I've never
I'm
had to
walking
talk
is a
about
big
it.
reason. Yeah. So, and it needs to be talked about.
So it's about human rights. Everything that we're doing, it all ties into helping each other learn how to love each other.
Yes.
Right? Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And remember, it's www.walk4change.us.